Please join me in welcoming Poppy.
Hi, everyone. First of all, just thank you for having me. It is such an honor to be talking at Google, and even more exciting because you guys are the first ever to experience and have a sneak preview of the Happy Not Perfect app on Android, which we'll be launching this week as a live beta on Google Play in light of Mental Health Awareness Week. So yesterday, I began to think, it's funny. I'm about to speak to some of the smartest people in the entire world who dedicate their time, expertise, and talent into making our technological experiences amazing. The care and attention put in means our devices constantly improve, amaze and delight us, and quickly adapt to our needs. That care and attention carries through from developer to the consumer. I know if I don't charge my phone, it will die. When a new update comes out, I immediately spend time upgrading and look in awe at new features and functions. But when thinking about this, I thought, isn't it odd? We clearly all understand the basic concept that care, time, and attention is needed to make anything better. But most of us are not willing to apply this concept to the most important hardware that exists, our minds. Unlike our technological devices, we don't recharge ourselves. We assume we can just work harder without a break. We learn an operating system as children and stick with it. Imagine if we were stuck using Windows 94 today. Like nightmare. It's strange, right? How we learn thinking patterns at an early age from the circumstances we're in or the people around us. And many just accept that for life. Your parents could be the smartest people in the world, but are they really the right ones to mold your thinking forever? I believe our minds and our thinking require the same care and attention as we put into upgrading our technological devices. As your life changes, surely your thinking needs to also. So today I'm going to be speaking about Happy Not Perfect, a company I founded a few years ago, purely dedicated to looking after your mind and your thinking. Because, as I'm sure you can agree, it's easy to forget that our own hardware needs to be rewired, recharged, and rested. So, who wants to feel less stressed, sleeping better, and making decisions with a calmer mindset? Anyone? Great. Let's see if we can help out. So I thought, before I launch into the tools we've developed, I thought I'd begin by telling you a little bit about why I'm here. I know we heard a brief insert earlier. I grew up in a really unique environment. Mother being a psychotherapist and a father an entrepreneur who suffered from severe stress and anxiety. And from a young age, I was taught our emotional health was delicate and saw firsthand how stress and anxiety not only affects an individual, how it spreads quickly between people. I watched my mother dedicate her life to learning new therapies to pass on to my father. We would wake up and she would say, brush your teeth, wash your face. Now, how will you look after your mind today? Meditation, breathing, walking outside were as normal as eating in our household. And later on, I became a TV presenter. 3 years ago, I launched a show called Pillow Talk with Poppy. And from that, did I realize when I started to read messages being sent to me from people all around the world, didn't matter their age, location, or gender, so many of these messages said the same things. I'm stressed. I'm worried about home, work, family, friends, relationships, the future. And I could relate. I was feeling it myself. The constant feeling of needing to try harder, be more, look more, keep up. This sparked me to research further, and I began to look into the macro mental health data trends, and what I found changed the course of my life forever. Things were even worse than I imagined. We are in a mental and an emotional health epidemic. Stress and anxiety is an all-time high. According to the American Psychological Association, millennials are the most stressed out generation that's ever lived. And sadly, this has risen again by another 5% this year. Is it social media? Why is this happening? The fact we're on comparison overload, information overload, and studies have proven those who spend more time scrolling tend to have lower self-esteem and high levels of stress and anxiety. Is it just because life has got more stressful in general? John S. Price, a psychiatrist, he advises his clients to actually stop watching television news, noting climate change, nuclear apocalypse, Ebola, flesh-eating viruses, antibiotic resistance, ever-growing economic inequality, fake news, the list is endless. It's too much for people to hear on a daily basis. And some say humans in Western societies are becoming more psychologically sensitive because there is less pressure on us to survive now that food and water are so abundant. They believe our gaze has moved away from survival and shifted inward. And so we're suffering from internal problems more. So whether it's the likes manipulating our self-worth, the bombardment of perfect images, the overstimulation, the fact we know what our sisters, boyfriends, mothers, grandmothers, dog owners, child is having for breakfast, whatever the reason is, 3 years ago, I thought this can't be now what we call life, that we can't accept this as our reality, highly stressed, anxious, not feeling enough, and terrified of real connection. No, I refuse. I need to create some sort of solution. So with the help and inspiration of my mum's focus on the mind, I tracked down a neuroscientist, my CEO, a brain cognitive app game developer, and we started building Happy Not Perfect. We wanted it to be a mind gym, to help us build muscles, those inner happiness muscles, to help us strengthen our emotional resilience, the bounce back skill in the face of setback. A gym to help us take back the control of our minds and get off this roller coaster, the roller coaster of emotions many of us continually sit on just waiting for life to happen. You may know the feeling. You're strapped in. You sit there excitedly as your carriage moves up. It's moving up, things seem to be going really well, and at the same time, you're slightly and constantly in fear something might go wrong and the drop is about to happen. Yes, got a bonus, going on a date, epic night out. No, missed the deadline, and you're at the bottom. We don't need to be on this roller coaster of emotion. We can step off, but we need to have the tools and practice to do so. And the good news is science has proved we don't need to be on a constant roller coaster of emotion. With the magic of neuroplasticity, meaning our brains are really like plastic, we can mold, we can rewire. Just like if you wanted to change your body, you would have to commit to working out. Your brain is exactly the same. It's not a click of your fingers, suddenly you're running a marathon, sadly. You've got to train. We can't just wake up and expect to feel good. Feeling good takes work and it takes dedication. You have to choose to take action to feel good. So instead of finding all the tools in different places, meditation over here, breath work, diary there, Happy Not Perfect set about to combine many tools supported by positive psychology and research studies into one place. So you can take your mindfulness happy gym in your pocket everywhere. So I'm going to take you through the app so you can experience your very own full mind workout, which we call the refresh, and it aims to relax, process thoughts, and find a positive perspective in less than 5 minutes. It's a daily ritual. So we have to reset our default because our default are kind of our caveman minds. They are fundamentally negative. For evolutionary reasons, we were trained to look for the negative first. For example, I would walk into an environment and I would look for the threat and I would see a lion over there and I'd think, danger, 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 let's retreat. And so as a consequence, we have evolved to reportedly have about 70% negative thoughts in our outlook. But in 2018, there aren't any lions hanging out on Spring Street, aside from a toxic boss. So we don't need to have this negative bias. The refresh workout is designed to upgrade your hardware. The useful thing about this is that you can do it on the home, you can do it at home, at work, on the go. You don't have to close your eyes. So let's jump into it. Here is your home screen. And you can either obviously choose to take a refresh, or you can listen to your daily dose, which is a thought for the day, some positive wisdom to change your outlook. I love this quote. Marianne Williams says, "A miracle is just a shift in perspective." And the Daily Dose hopes to give you a shift in perspective every single day. But let's jump into the refresh. Step 1, how do you feel? Now, studies found that just by acknowledging how you feel, you actually start slowing down the emotional center of your brain, the amygdala. And we have over 25 emotions you can choose from. And it's amazing how much we go through life in autopilot, but we never check in with actually how we feel. You walk into the office and someone says, "How are you?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm good." Well, you're not. You're actually still really fucked off from yesterday. Anyway, so for the purposes of this talk, I'm selecting that I'm feeling stressed, as I'm very stressed about public speaking. And step 2, it's crazy, so simple. Just choose your emotion and you start activating your brain in a way that you can feel more balanced. So simple. Step 2, breathe. Now, I want to do a little experiment before we launch into the breathing step and to see how well you guys breathe. Okay, so can you all give me a big inhale and a big exhale? So who felt themselves go up on the inhale and down on the exhale? Fantastic. I'm so glad you're here because you're all terrible breathers. And don't worry, 9 out of 10 people are bad breathers. And this is what I found so insane to me. I went to go train as a breathing instructor under one of the world's leading specialists, Dr. Belissa Vraniec. And she educated me on how badly our breathing habits have become. And usually we get into bad breathing habits from the age of 5 years old because we go to school, we hunch over desks, and as a consequence, all our breath goes up here. So when people start breathing like this, you're moving your neck and shoulders, but your neck and shoulders are not breathing muscles. Your breathing muscles are here. So it makes no sense that we spend all day, every day going like this. And all that's doing is hiking up our cortisol, the stress hormone, impacting our immune system and making us feel more stressed. So immediately when we start consciously breathing and we belly breathe, we're able to stimulate our vagus nerve that takes us out of the fight and flight system into the rest and relax system. So I want us all to do a belly breath together. So hands on your belly. And I want you, on the inhale, to expand as if a balloon is inside your lungs. So inhale, expand, and exhale. Squeeze all the air out. Belly to spine. Inhale, expand your belly. Exhale. Belly to spine, squeeze all the air out. Now let's do that again. Inhale. Now try sip some more air in. And exhale. Relax your shoulders. Did you notice a slight difference in how you're breathing just then? Yes. Nod. Yeah, great. In the app, it not only tells you how to breathe, and also through biofeedback, just relaxing your shoulders. You're using your body to send messages to your brain to say, I'm not in danger. A lion is not attacking me. I'm safe. And then you're able to breathe for either 30 seconds, a minute, and again, we wanted to make sure this was super visually stimulating rather than what I kind of found when I was looking around the market for kind of, breathing tools. I found them all pretty boring. Step 3, journaling. This, again, may seem so simple, this exercise, but if I told you all that I invented the sit-up, you'd be like, what? That's so basic. Like, it's just a body moving up and down. And this is what's so incredible about mindfulness, is that the most simplest of activities have such an amazing positive impact on your mind. So when you journal and actually allow yourself to write down how you're feeling, you start activating the computer side of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, and that helps calm the emotional center even more, furthering your movement into the rest and relax state. they say a problem shared is a problem halved, and it is really true. You're able to create that rational distance between what's been happening in your life and processing it. So in the app, it gives you a different question depending on the emotion you selected at the beginning. The experience is tailored to your mood. So I've written, because I'm about to speak at Google and I really hope I don't fuck this up, great. And then the whole screen explodes because I was so fascinated by burning ceremonies, but I thought to myself, well, health and safety, I don't want anybody to be burning down houses. I just thought I'd put it in an app. So we worked really hard to make sure that you could have your own mini burning ritual, and then visually can see yourself letting go of worries. What I find incredible about human beings is that we really like to handicap ourselves. We experience all these emotions on a day-to-day basis, and yet we never kind of process them and let them go. It's like we have an emotional backpack that we keep filling up every single day, and after a while, that backpack gets very heavy. So why not allow yourself to release every single day a little bit and make the load lighter? Make life easier for yourself. Step 4, what are you grateful for? Now look, I know you can go on Instagram and see a lot of smug #blessed posts, but this is not about that. Your grateful diary is incredible. It not only helps stimulate positive hormones and helps you sleep better. Studies found that people that go to sleep with a more positive mental attitude tend to have a better quality of sleep. So doing this before bed is great. But what I really think is amazing behind the science behind gratitude is the ability to set your brain filters. Now, I'm not sure if this has ever happened to you, but let's say you purchase a red car and you're driving in your red car and you suddenly go, everybody has bought a red car. I am a trendsetter. And sadly, you're not a trendsetter. No more red cars are on the road, just red cars are more relevant to you. We have so much information being fired at us on a day-to-day basis. Our brain is so clever, it kind of does the Google search for us, like what is relevant, what is not, what should I take notice of, what should I not. So by writing a grateful diary, you set your own filters to say, actually, looking for things that are good in my life is now going to become relevant information. Set your own Google filters. Write a grateful diary every single day. It is incredible. Step 5, game time. Now, games are fantastic at interrupting negative thought loops. It is a different type of mindfulness experience. You're focusing on one thing rather than our kind of ADHD generation. You're thinking about lots of things, which can be stressful. So we allow you to play a different game every day. We have a kind of a coloring it in activity, and I was fascinated by the research around art therapy. Step 6, self-compassion. Now, I just want to ask you a question. How many of you in the first half an hour of waking up go on your social media to scroll through feeds? Yeah, okay, so yeah, a good amount, yeah, 80% of you. And let's just have a think about that ritual, okay? So we wake up every single day and we go to our phone. So before we've even checked in with ourselves, even thought about ourselves, we're immediately thinking about other people. After years of doing this, day in, day out, all we do is like everybody else. Of course, that is gonna have an effect on our self-esteem. Not for one moment do we think to ourselves, what do we have? Like, what's good? We just go, oh yeah, she's a great holiday, awesome. She looks great, awesome. I'm double tapping everybody else. So I'm like, no, self-compassion, double tap yourself. And so this step is all about double tapping yourself and building up your resilience. And step 7, make someone else feel good. It's amazing in a narcissistic world how little we think about others. And so many studies will show the people that think about others the most are happier. Now, you will see on your seats, you actually have a physical vibe card. And I hope that you will give that to somebody today. Pay it forward. And we have the same philosophy in the app. Every single day, the app asks you, who can you send a positive note to? It's incredible how much you can change someone's day by just letting them know you're thinking about them. And so this allows you to send positive messages. And you did it. In under 5 minutes, you did a full mind workout, stimulating your prefrontal cortex, relaxing and calming your amygdala, the emotional center, helped you stimulate serotonin, and you didn't have to close your eyes. there is no reason why you shouldn't be doing this every single day. Now, aside from the refresh, we have a meditation library. And I was fascinated about meditation because I felt that it was something we all want to do, but we all kind of forget. Because as soon as you wake up and you've got the alarm and suddenly you're like, oh God, I need to see that person later and I've got to respond to this email and I've got to do this, I've got to do this. Suddenly our entire morning's gone. Those that have a meditation practice, it's incredible. There's so much research behind meditation helping us to calm the emotional center more. It even lengthens your telomeres, which in your brain can help prevent the slowdown of cell rejuvenation. So it can help in anti-aging. I mean, isn't that crazy? You don't need an anti-aging cream anymore. You just need to meditate. But I wanted to make meditation fun. So we did a ton of focus groups. And I said, well, what do you really want to hear meditations about? And they were like, well, actually, how to bounce back from rejection, or, removing exes, good riddance. And I was like, yeah, done, cool. The fuck it meditation, yeah, we're gonna put it in there. So we really wanted to bring some personality to mental wellness because it can become very boring. So we have lots there for you. 3 days to bounce back from rejection, one of my faves, Jodie Shield, fantastic guide. But the thing is with all of these kind of mindfulness rituals is that they only really work with repetition. Just like if you wanted to train for a marathon, you would have to train every single day. Just like keeping your teeth healthy, we all know at the age of 5, we need to brush our teeth every single day. And just like learning the piano requires practice. So if you want to develop a positive mental outlook, optimistic thinking, it requires practice. Caring for yourself is really not selfish. You are massively doing us all a favor. And so we have a mission to make sure looking after our mind is as normal, easy, and fun as brushing the teeth. Emotional education, awareness around mental well-being can change the world, but it really starts at an individual level. It requires us all to look after and upgrade our own hardware, to stop behavior and negative thought patterns being passed through generations as learned behaviors. But for us all to wake up and realize we have the power over what we think. And okay, we have moments of struggling, but we can all do something about it. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the app. Please share it with friends and family. If there's anyone here who would like to collaborate, help spread the word through Google Play, I'd be really grateful. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. That was very cool to see all the different steps. My favorite part, and I encourage all of you, because you couldn't see it well on the screen, do the burn. That is like my favorite thing on the app. I'm curious, Poppy, what surprised you most from the research when you first started developing the app?
How, to be honest, little we know about our own mind. I started doing research, just asking people, what's anxiety? And nobody would even be able to tell me what anxiety was. And I thought that's so crazy. You go to school, you learn how to brush, you learn how to read and write, but yet no one tells you how to be a human being. No one tells you how to deal with and process loss. That's all going to happen. It's going to happen to all of us. Or a breakup, social rejection, disappointment. And that's what I've found so phenomenal, is how little we knew about the thing that controls our mind.
Right. Great. And was there anything in your research and then in developing the app, different exercises that you cut out or you wish you could have included, or was this sort of like the final product that you were super happy with? I'm curious if there was anything else you were considering.
So I feel like my CEO would be laughing right now because I think we are always in a constant, that's the beauty of app developing, is that I'm like, can we go to Mars already? And he's like, no, Poppy, we're building the rocket. And so we had to put in, the fundamental features I really felt were absolutely necessary in everybody needing to look after their mind at stage 1. And then we have a whole kind of blueprint about where we're going to go. But really, when we were thinking about this whole philosophy about a mind gym, like a normal gym, if we were going to set up a gym right now, we'd be like, okay, maybe we need a running machine, or okay, sure, maybe we need some weights, great. So that's what we kind of did. We're like, okay, what are the necessaries, and then we'll have our kind of luxury items coming soon.
Great. Is there anything you can share with us of what's coming next for Happy Not Perfect? Or should we just stay tuned?
Stay tuned.
Perfect. I'd love to also hear a little bit more about the inspiration for the app. You talked about your mom, which I love that story. Can you tell us more about your personal experience with stress, with anxiety? You juggle two, companies and brands, and what is this like in your day-to-day life? It's interesting, actually. Happy Not Perfect is, I don't know how I'd live without it now, because I used to love, buying journals and the 5-minute journal I loved, for example, asked different questions. But I found that I would lose them, and then I'd be absolutely mortified if someone read it, and it was so impractical. And also, I loved a self-help book, but then I thought, oh my God, if somebody looks at my bookcase, they're like, who is this girl? She's got some serious issues. So it's really, to have a tool that I'm able to use every single day to balance like all the different things I'm doing, has just been it's just been phenomenal, and something I really, really do kind of, so I use it myself. And I just think it's interesting. We live in such a different world. I say we had the Industrial Revolution, and, humanity totally changed the way we lived life. And then we had this, this technological revolution. And again, we are living in a very different world to like where we were 20 years ago. So I feel passionately about us all adapting to this new, very fast-paced world in order for us to survive in a happy way rather than struggling. Sure. And are there any other daily rituals that you do in self-care to manage?
Yeah, I'm a major fan of walking meditations. I will usually, before I even brush my teeth, I'll just do a 15-minute walk when I wake up, because it just it brings me slowly nice into the world, away from sleep, and it just helps calm everything. So I'm a major fan of walking. If I can walk, rain, snow, shine, I'm out there with some trainers. I feel like that's massively helpful. And also, because obviously so many of us have office jobs, it's incredible how little daylight we get. And actually daylight is so important to be stimulating our vitamin D. So just getting outside, regardless of the weather, is so critical to feeling better.
I love that. We need to get out of here more often. We have beautiful terraces, but there's a world outside Google to explore. A couple of years ago, you did a TEDx talk on our addiction to likes, which you talked about, sort of social media and the effect of technology on our well-being. And here, being at Google, I'm curious, how do you manage your own sort of relationship with social media, with technology? Do you have any advice for all of us?
I think
what to do.
It's so interesting, because we didn't really need to think about this until, I would say, maybe in the last year and a half, because it was interesting. It was like a new toy, and we didn't know what it was really doing to us. And now I did the TED Talk on Addicted to Likes. A couple of years ago, I started to notice how obviously those little double taps triggering the dopamine release in your brain, you wanting more, and how kind of bad you can feel if you don't get as many as you want to get, and whatever. So as a consequence, I really try to do social media free weekends, just because it helps me be more present with everybody I'm around. Because I think it's, everybody noticed the person at the table. That attention goes as soon as they get out their device. And then the conversation and the attention shifts, So I try and do social media free weekends. And that's the thing, technology is amazing. I think sometimes it can get a really bad rep, but it's how we use it a lot is causing us the problems.
Right.
So if we can, balance everything. If we ate too much, we'd feel unhealthy, or, it's like anything in life. Everything in moderation is brilliant, right?
Sure. Wonderful. And sort of turning to you a little bit, I'd love to hear about your personal sort of journey from television hosting personality through to your accessory line, and now the mindfulness mental health app. Sort of what was that like? What led you from one step to another?
So it's interesting because I feel like my entire life was building up to really creating Happy Not Perfect. And everything I was doing, like the TV hosting was, it was like the 6-year-old dream I had. I was like, I can't wait to host television shows. And it was really fun, exciting. But there was this point where it just felt desperately underfulfilling. Like, how am I helping the world? And I just felt like if I died being a TV host, I would be just like, oh, great. I was like, and also I was really bad. Honestly, I failed at like every interview. So I don't think I would have had a very long career anyway. So I think I kind of had to change. and also being, what is so lovely about this, and I think I'm so grateful to, be working with an amazing team that we can create something like Happy Not Perfect and get it to life, is the messages we receive. Like we had a beta, on iOS, but we get emails every single day from people saying, like, thank you, I've never slept so well. I have finally got over my breakup. I've finally got a peace of mind. Like, this is getting me through hospital. And that feels so rewarding. So, and look, startups are a nightmare. Even with the fashion line, it is brutal. Like, you are working, and I'm sure everyone in this room understands how difficult it is to, you're working on really obviously exciting. We're so lucky to have the jobs we have, but they take their pound of flesh. And that's interesting. Talking about mental well-being, like, you're 7 days a week. But when it's kind of fueled by a passion that that you're going to help other people, I think it just makes it a lot easier.
I love that. I was also reading about in 2017, you were named one of Forbes 30 under 30s. Congratulations. And you were appointed as the youngest board member of the Resnick Neuropsychiatric Hospital Advisory Board. I'd love to just hear at UCLA. I'd love to hear more about what that experience was like, what your work is like with them, and what you're learning from that experience.
UCLA is such an incredible institution, and it's been fascinating, and a real honor to kind of see behind the scenes and how the hospital supports the university in, they have the Depression Grand Challenge, they have the Healthy Campus Initiative, and they are proactively as a university doing everything they can to support student mental well-being. Mental well-being in amongst the student population is really at an all-time low, and I'm not surprised, because I think this pressure to be successful is so enormous, especially at these universities that are really difficult to get into. There is this feeling of like keeping up. Everything has to be perfect, right. And the stress these students are putting on themselves is unmanageable. So it's for me, it's really lovely to try and support in all the ways I can. Also, being 28 myself, it wasn't so long ago that I was a student and I was actually TV presenting at the time. So I was balancing these 2 jobs of university and work and trying to do that. And the Forbes thing, that's just a real honor. Real honor, like lucky.
Amazing. Before I'm going to ask one more question, then I invite the audience, if you want to line up at mics, if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. So if you could take over the Google sort of homepage, the landing page, and either
cool.
Can I? We'll look into it. And if you could either design a doodle or have some sort of phrase on there, what would it be? What would your message be to the world?
Tell someone you love them today. Because I just think we go through life, and it sounds so cringe, but it's so true. We go through life thinking about ourselves a lot. When you're, feeling stressed or anxious, you're thinking about yourself. So I think that actually when we turn the attention outward to whose day can I make better today? Who can I help today? Life is easier because you are able to support other people. And to be honest, why is life worth living? It's for our friendships, our relationships, our true, authentic social connections. So tell someone you love them today, I think I wonder how many people would. I kind of love it.
I love that. You should all do that today. You have 2 homework assignments, the card and tell someone you love them.
Yeah, you know what? if you have your phone on you, why doesn't everybody get out their phone and send one message to someone to tell them that you appreciate them?
Right now, in real time.
Yeah, just like one, like, thanks, hope you're well. If someone's going through a breakup, hope, you know, that kind of thing. Thinking of you, like, I heard you were sick last week, are you better? I'm sure you don't need any more prompts.
We'll give you 20 seconds to come with a very
And what's
thoughtful
so brilliant
message.
about positive messages is they have a boomerang effect. You send them, and you'll get a message back being like, thank you so much. Like, oh my God, someone actually thought about me today.
Great. I'm also curious, Poppy, where did you come up with the name? And were there other names you were considering, or how did Happy Not Perfect really stick? How did that speak to you?
Well, Happy Not Perfect kind of found me in a weird sort of way. I woke up in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., and I just was like, honestly, I was like possessed. And I just went online and bought the domain name. And I couldn't believe Happy Not Perfect was free in 2015. I was like, that's crazy. I didn't even know what it was going to be. I just had these words, Happy Not Perfect. And I just think that I was really suffering at the time from just not understanding, I suppose, and not prioritizing my own happiness, but wanting to be perfect for everybody around me, like whether it was, you know, for work or my friends or family or whatever. And I think we can get ourselves into not helpful patterns when, you know, I quote this from Oprah, like the disease to please. And Happy Not Perfect really spoke to me, and I suddenly thought, oh my God, imagine if I focused on what made me happy today rather than trying to be perfect. Wouldn't life be different? And I just thought, well, my dream would be for everybody in this world to see the words Happy Not Perfect every single day, just to remind them of that. You know what, today your happiness matters, like above all else.
Yep. Was there a tipping point for you when you sort of had that personal experience of, hey, I'm not happy and I feel like I'm just needing to be perfect for the world around me? Was there a specific moment or time in your life, or was it sort of a progression?
You know what? I think it's one of those things. Sometimes I don't think we all realize how kind of toxic our environments are until we hit rock bottom. Yep. And that was really, again, like part of the mission of Happy Not Perfect. Why do we need to hit rock bottom to then start looking after our mind? Right. Like, you hit rock bottom and then you see a therapist. You hit rock bottom, then you know, like, find medication. Right. But actually, what is your preventative measures? And that was the thing. I experienced terrible burnout. I had to go to hospital. I was like exhausted for weeks. And I thought to myself, how have I let myself get to this point of being totally adrenally fatigued, that I'm so burnt out because I've just worked every single hour of the day trying to do my best, which was kind of, you know, manic, really. Right. So kind of Happy Not Perfect is also kind of the symbol of like, it's okay. You can take a breath today. You can. You're not going to miss out on anything.
Wonderful. And is there a specific challenge or thing that you're focusing on right now in your life that's most present for you?
Yeah, I'm trying to, at the moment, work on stillness. And stillness doesn't necessarily mean what I'm learning to stay still, but actually like be in flow with life. Because let's say kind of you were looking at something and all these objects were moving at exactly the same time towards you, they would actually look as if they were kind of still. And that's what I'm really interested in. Like, how do we cultivate kind of more stillness and being more aware of just being in flow with life? Yeah. So that's what I'm working on at the moment.
Wonderful. I love
endless
that.
Journey.
All of this is. And just to wrap up, are there any sort of final messages or anything you want our audience to know about the app, about the work you're doing? Any takeaways?
Please share the word. I just think that, you know, really looking after our mind has to be as normal as looking after our bodies, looking after our teeth, washing our hair. It has to be as kind of like mundane and normal as that. And I think we're at a time in the world with so much happening that, you know, it's not only our responsibility to look after our own, but also to encourage people to look after theirs too. So look, meditation isn't always an option for everyone. That's why we've created different tools. But it is a joint effort. Like, we're in this together, and look, emotions are contagious. So if my friend starts looking after their mental well-being better, it's going to make me me feel better too.
Sure.
So we're very closely, human beings are so delicate and so sensitive, and we're so closely linked to each other. So yeah, just we're in this together.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Poppy, so much for your time, for sharing your app. Thank you all for coming and taking a time out from your day, taking a breath, a belly breath, not a shoulder breath.
Oh yeah, belly breathing. That's the last message. Just belly breathe away. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you all, and feel free to stick around if you have any questions you want to ask Poppy directly at the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.